And at least 53 people are dead and 29 seriously injured after a bus crash in the West African nation of Cameroon. Our Ian Lee is following this story and a few other stories from around the world. Ian, you are joining us from London. The images are just absolutely devastating. What do we know about this crash?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. So the bus was traveling in the early morning hours when it was still dark outside. That's when it collided with a truck that was carrying flammable liquids. It happened at the cliff of Jong near the town of Jong. And the morning revealed the skeleton of the burnt-out bus and the remains of the partially melted truck. The accident looked like a bomb had gone off. The surrounding countryside was charred and blackened. Fire crews were still extinguishing the smoldering wreckage. Authorities say the question now moves to how this happened. An investigation has been launched. Officials are also trying to identify the bodies, but that will be difficult as much of the remains are burnt. As for the survivors, 28 are in the hospital with first and second degree burns, while one is suffering from a head injury. Next, we're in Pakistan, where a court has acquitted the man convicted of killing Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl. The country's Supreme Court dismissed all charges against Omar Sheikh, who has spent more than 18 years in prison for the crime. The government says it's disappointed and will try to challenge the verdict. And Pearl was reporting in Pakistan about militant networks after September 11th, when he had disappeared. Days later, he was killed. The U.S. government has previously said it's willing to intervene in the case, but it isn't clear how they would do that. And this outcome could likely strain relations between Washington and Islamabad. Next, we're in Poland, where the country has enacted one of the strictest abortion laws in Europe. Protesters against the Constitutional Court's decision filled the streets of Warsaw. Under the new rules, abortion would only be legal in two scenarios. First, if the mother's health or life is threatened, and second, if the woman became pregnant following rape or incest. The majority of Poles oppose a stricter ban, which has led to some of the largest demonstrations the country has seen in decades. Poland's conservative government, which has strong ties to the Catholic Church, supports the ruling. Finally, there is a vaccine war brewing in Europe. The European Union had criticized AstraZeneca after the UK-based drug maker said it would only deliver 40% of the doses. The EU told them, though, that they needed to divert stocks from the UK in order to fulfill their commitments. They also threatened to stop the export of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine manufactured in Belgium. Both the EU and AstraZeneca went into crisis talks to resolve the dispute and vowed to work together, but Europe is feeling the pressure. And Anne-Marie, citizens are demanding a speedier rollout of the vaccine, while several countries, as we've reported, have seen protests in recent days over COVID restrictions, some of those protests turning violent.
Yeah, and you know, Ian, what I keep thinking is this is a battle between wealthy countries, wealthy European, Western countries. The developing nations, they're not even part of this conversation, and people there are in such desperate need for the vaccine. They could, you know, they may not see it for months and months. Ian, thank you so much.